daughters, right? You gotta have another kid and have a son.
What did she say?
I was quickly given the bird.
She really doesn't want another kid.
I wonder why.
No, don't worry. No, we're not. We don't have time to discuss that now. All right, when you're the guest. When you're the guest, we'll talk about it.
Are we talking about Mickey's uterus?
No, I want her to be on the next show.
Oh, she should be.
Anyway, this was. There's a timestamp that says.
Georgie, your hair's all black.
I know. What is it now?
What?
There's a timestamp that says 94, but
it's kind of like that one.
But I think it's 04. I asked my friend, and he said
it has to be 04. 94, you would have been not in.
No, my friend said it was 03, but it could have been. It's either.
You didn't ever have earrings, did you?
I don't have earrings there.
No, there's just a little blurb in the.
I have a gold.
Photo.
I'm wearing a gold chain.
Well, there's just something on the screen that I'm seeing right there.
No, I don't have an earring on.
I didn't think you had earrings.
I have sunglasses, a gold chain. I have a black tank top.
And
I look like
shorts.
An Italian Guido.
Yes, you do.
With a bad haircut. And this is I'm guessing during spring break.
I remember having a bathing suit like that, actually.
Nice. I wonder where this girl is now. That's the thing. You see all these old pictures of spring breakers, and it's like...
So you need those big forums.
So...
Panama City, 1998, or whatever year it was.
All the thousands of people that spring break.
Like, everybody would start, like, joining them, and, like, slowly everybody else would start joining them, because somebody else was joining them.
Of course. Yeah. Just like Burlington in the 90s on Facebook. But, look at, all the thousands of people that spent their spring break in Panama City, small town, very small. Where are they now? Like, a lot of these girls are from Alabama, Georgia.
It's called L.A.
Fucking Lower Alabama.
Lower Alabama.
FLA.
So, we had this one guy that worked in my shop. He was a civilian contractor. He knew everything about everything. He might have been in the military at some point in time, but he traveled like he was military because he went over to Lake and Heath. Like, they sent him everywhere that we went. And his name is Ken. It's pretty dope. He was from Kentucky. And he was like, Christina, he's like, in the 1960s, I had a convertible. And, like, when you're talking about a convertible in the 1960s, you're talking about a car that's, like, this big. And he said that he used to drive down Beachfront Avenue with a keg in the back, just the car loaded with people on it, and that keg, and he would just cruise beachfront in the 60s.
What's his
name?
And
there was no houses around. There were
Beachfront Avenue in Miami?
No, not Beachfront Avenue, but like along, what was it in Panama City Beach?
Oh, Front Beach.
Front Beach. She used to cruise down Front Beach.
Back when the motels were all like dumps,
Tiny
like little dumps.
Fuck.
Yeah, it used to be a vacation spot for people that are broke.
So, exactly.
And now it got...
He's like,
I could have made a ton of money if I had money back then.
I used to cruise down this, and he had the Cadillac back in the day, and there's a bunch of people hanging off it, because the cars were bigger, and everything else is a little bit smaller.
Right. If I had money back then, I could have got rich on real estate. Because
I'm hoping to get rich on real estate right fucking now.
Yeah? What are you going to do?
My house.
What are you going to do?
Have you seen what's been getting built up along East Allen?
Well, that's more of a luck thing, because
you don't think
you're hoping somebody buys you out.
You don't think... I'm happy with my house.
Right. So you're hoping they come in and say, we're going to give you $10 million.
If somebody comes over and says, I'm going to give you, I don't know, even $300,000 for my house. That'd be $125 over. You didn't see what they paid those other people for those little properties. You saw
I
that
know.
places that
I've
like
known
those were
people
junk
that.
places that place is now being built up upon right now, and that's going to be a multi-million-dollar facility right there. And
Yeah.
across the street now they're building something else. Now for sale are the two houses that are in the like what used to be the rich district of Winooski. That whole nice little area where there's a whole bunch of nice houses. There's for sale signs up. Like people are ready to get out of there. I don't know. I'm holding on to that until somebody offers me a nice chunk of change. I'll live in my truck. If I want to move, I will live on a campground
Oh,
and live in the back of my truck with Roscoe until somebody offers me a deal on the house. I'm not selling it
I think
until a
you'll.
contractor comes in and says, I'm going to give you this much money.
Yeah,
I
you'll
think I
get
made a good
lucky.
purchase.
You'll get lucky. And in PCB in the early 2000s, like right after 9/11, is when I got there. The property values were zero. You could have beachfront, beautiful beachfront for nothing, for like 100 grand.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it was like, wait a minute. I think with the internet and people were like exploring outside of
Mickey
their.
just says back to zero
What's back to zero?
after that hurricane. It's the same thing. You got to be able to ride it out.
I think it's gotten better.
You got to be able to ride it out.
They built up everything in PCB. PCB used to be a little redneck Riviera.
I think it's the same thing. Real estate is a long-term investment.
You flip
Just
though.
like
You
putting
just
something
flip.
in, you have to be able to ride the ups and the downs. Like if you own something for 50 years waiting to go into retirement, you can't always be on an upgrade. There's obviously going to be some downgrades. And some of those downgrades are going to be severe. So,
Right. You got to
so
be
long
ready
as
for
you are in
that.
a Ponzi scandal, your investment will start to go up again.
You've got to flip. You got to be able to flip real estate. And I tell that to people that are dreamers that are like, well, I don't have a car or a boat or a house that I want. And I said, here, okay, here's the basic thing you can
Wait,
do.
what do you mean you're talking about to people that are dreamers? Who are these
Like
dreamers?
fishing buddies and stuff.
Okay.
I'm talking about you. Is that what are you trying to
I know you're not talking about me.
do?
I know what the fuck I'm talking about.
What are we talking about?
I'm saying when you're
No, this is
talking
good.
about, I know.
Are we disagreeing on something?
We're not disagreeing on something. I'm wondering who it is that you're talking to that you're giving this
I'm
advice
talking
to
to
about
you,
whatever.
not giving you advice, but
I
I'm
know you're
talking to
not.
you. Um, I talk to people that are telling me like I've got this house and I've got this and that, but I want more.
Okay.
And they're not like they're
I feel like you have a couple of lives. I
a
feel
couple of
like
lives.
you and Mickey live here
I'm not
in
all right.
South Burlington, but then
Yeah,
you also have a life down
Vermont.
in Bomazine,
That's
where
my dad. Yeah.
right. So you have right here in South Burlington, which is where you actually live.
Yeah.
And you have fishing buddies and your dad and everybody else that lives that are outside of the let's say metropolitan area
Right. My fishing buddies live out in the. They live in bumfuck Egypt.
okay, where
Um.
where land investment and everything like that might be a little different than it is here.
Yes, but my advice to anybody who's like a 20-something-year-old or somebody that's in their 20s with loans and debt and all that shit.
Like college loans,
That's
student
yeah,
loans.
student loans or any other credit card. Like when you're at 22 and you run up a huge credit card debt and they're like, "What the hell do I
Sucks.
do?" And I want to buy a house, but I have no credit and I have
You
nothing.
are not buying a house at 22.
But you can't. You can get yourself on some kind of cheap mortgage or something. And then you go in and you put the time in and you fix it up and then you sell it for something more. And then you do it again. And you
George,
do
that means the person that is 22 years old that is trying to get themselves out of debt from college and all this other stuff, it has the ability to buy a cheap property and fix it up. Unless you have a father that is a contractor or a family that's a contractor, you trying to do that shit all by yourself when you're 22 years old is not possible.
Maybe not 22, maybe 30. Let's say 30.
Maybe.
You're 30 years old.
If you even have the time to do that, because by the time you're 30 and you're trying to do all that stuff, and maybe now you got a kid in the way, and as part of those things, you have to be able. Okay, let me say this one thing. If you think you want to flip houses, or you think you want to buy a cheap foreclosure house, you should have some sort of experience in construction, electricity,
Finance.
real estate. Like, you gotta have some experience in that. You can't just jump into
But
that.
the
no
information
experience.
is all there. You can access
Guess
all
what?
that information.
Unless you have that knowledge, you are going to go through a deep learning curve.
Right.
That you are going to learn. That you are going to lose a shit ton of money learning until you actually make a profit.
Just by learning?
I'm a good lawyer, and I know people.
Just by learning?
Just by learning. George,
Yeah.
how much have you learned in your life? I've learned a shit ton.
Not much,
I
but
do it all.
I am in no way I have a bachelor's degree, but I am
not talking about that type of learning.
okay, but I am in no way
Nope.
a like fancy man from like my ivory tower who's like I know everything.
I know
am
you're
not
like that, George, but
yeah.
Tell me the skills that you have learned from not being the white ivory tower man. What carpentry skills, what plumbing skills, what electrical skills do you have from not being in that ivory tower that you have right now that you'd be able to flip a house with?
You know how I learned? I learned that now as an adult from YouTube. I do not learn that shit from going to school or classes anymore. I have like YouTube and Google to learn shit like that. Back in the day, in the 90s, we had to pay to
when
go
Mickey
to...
comes home one day
Yeah.
and you have experienced a white flash because you didn't know what the fuck you were doing at the fuse box,
Right.
and she's calling 911 to help your dumbass up.
Yeah.
No, because I'm the one. I got a little zapped when I changed our vanity light upstairs.
And it's a hey-o.
A little bit.
Hey.
I'm turning off the whole electricity, the whole entire house. I've got one light out, this up there, and I'm like, I don't know which one for sure, because all the electricity is jacked up. It's from the 1950s, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just shutting down the power to the whole damn house. I'm gonna switch out that light bulb.
Do you call an electrician or do you...
No, I'm gonna fucking do it myself.
$200
I said I'm gonna turn off the electricity to the whole entire damn house.
Yeah.
And then I'll fix the bulbs that I need to.
Nobody does work anymore like that. So
No.
now the good guys
It's
are
a risk.
charging $200 an hour.
You can't ask for
It's a
you can't
risk,
ask
but-
somebody to come over for an easy job. They'll be $50.
They were going to charge
No.
me $200 to put that.
Right.
And
Yeah, that's... Nowadays, you're facing...
it's because
$200, $300 for every little house call.
Because it's a shortage of tradespeople.
Right.
There really are.
I'm not a trades
You can barely
person.
find people. Like, how many porch people did we go through?
A
And
lot.
I finally just said, I'll do my God's
And look at what my dad went through hiring handymen to fix the
I
goddamn duct.
think that's part of the
These
part
are
of the phase where it's like if you get a 4-year degree, if you waste everything, you get a 4-year degree. If I was back in high school, I'd much rather be a welder than anything.
I did welding in high school.
I wish I would have
sheet
done it.
metal.
I didn't learn one trade
did-
in high school.
I did
I wish I would have
auto
done all
shop,
that.
sheet metal, electric shop, TIG, and MIG welding.
I wish I would have done all that because I would have been happier doing that. Because right now, I like what I'm doing, but I don't like being in an office all
Everybody's
day.
like, do you
I like hanging
do you
out with
love
the
what
dudes?
you're doing? I'm like, I'm not fucking saving lives.
Right, exactly.
I don't love what
I'm
I'm
good at
doing, but
numbers.
I love what I'm doing gets me.
Exactly.
Doesn't that make sense? Like,
Well, I
my
mean,
job
but if
gets
I-
me what I love.
Yes, and I do have an interest in my job. However, if I had been younger, that wasn't given to me as an option because I was a smart kid. You're a smart kid. You're going to college.
Yeah.
You're a
You don't need to
All right,
learn how to
well,
twist a
you're
wrench
learning a
and all
trade,
that
blah,
shit.
blah.
But that's
Even though I
wrong,
learned
though.
that. It is wrong.
My parents
It's
taught
wrong
me,
now.
you're smart, but you're gonna learn A, B, and C. Nobody's gonna do shit for you.
Well,
So
I
we're
mean,
gonna teach you how to do it.
I grew up in the
My
country.
dad, not my mom.
I
She
grew up
still
in the
can't
country,
teach
so I'm not like completely retarded when it comes to using tools and stuff like
The
that.
R word.
I do know stuff. Well, I grew up in the 90s. Everybody can go fuck
I
themselves.
taught him how to use
The R word was
circular saw.
appropriate in those days.
I taught him how to use the circular saw.
Never.
See.
Quantum leap.
No,
I'm
it's a little-
retarded. Oh boy.
Oh, boy, please. I am the retarded.
Remember that he did one show where he looks in the mirror.
I
and
just
it's-
remember the beginning of Quantum Leap.
Quantum leap. He leaps into people's bodies. One episode, he looks in the mirror.
Who was the actor that?
Scott Bakula.
Oh yeah, Scott Bakula.
He looks in the mirror and there's a Down syndrome guy and it's like,
He's like,
I'm retarded.
I'm retarded.
Oh boy. Wait, I gotta find that. Sorry. No, carry on. I totally agree with you about people getting educated to use their hands and educated
I
to
gotta
use.
call my mom. Is that okay?
Can you do the quantum leap thing first?
Why don't you just let me call my mom on radio?
Just watch this right before you do it.
Okay. Oh my god, I'm a retard.
I'm retarded?
He's wearing a Bullwinkle shirt with the Beatles. Oh my god. That's so fucked up.
Well,
like
but that's
he
before
was just
it
a
was.
little fucking retarded boy. Like
Yeah,
it was like
a.
they changed into.
Yeah, well,
I'm
this
calling
was
my
the
mom real quick.
Hold on. This is better. I'm retarded?
Calling my mom.
To be honest, this podcast sounds like two kids on the block.
It's fine.
The new kids on the block? I wish we had some coke.
You need agenda.
That's what I told him. I'm like, you can't spring things on me. We need to be able to like watch the videos beforehand.
It's called
so I have
producing.
Well, I'm not a good editor.
No, it's called producing.
You're the
You need
producer.
pre-production
Buddha from
before you
Google.
have a podcast.
You're the Buddha Google.
Hi, Mom.
Help people, everyone run
Hello?
their business.
Hello?
Is there a pause?
Yeah, I can hear you. Hey.